Welcome to Soul Connections. Thank you for being here, and thank you for choosing to spend this time listening. On this channel, I share real experiences that people have trusted me with. Moments that changed how they understood life and what may exist beyond the physical world. Many people come here carrying questions about the future, about loss, and about whether our lives truly matter in the larger picture. The story you're about to hear was sent to me by someone who experienced a near-death event during a medical crisis. What makes this experience unique is that while she was beyond her body, she was shown possible futures. Not fixed outcomes, but paths shaped by choice. I'll be reading her account in her own words, as faithfully as possible. You don't need to decide what you believe, just listen. This is Brenda's story. Before this happened, I believed the future was something that simply arrived. I thought life moved forward in a straight line. You made plans, things happened to you, and you reacted the best you could. I understood choice on a surface level, but I didn't really believe my smallest decisions carried much weight beyond their immediate consequences. That changed the day my body failed. I had been admitted to hospital after collapsing at home. There were tests, quiet conversations between doctors, and the kind of concerned expressions that make you realise people know more than they're telling you. I remember feeling strangely detached from it all, as though I were watching someone else's life momentarily intersect with mine. The moment my near-death experience began did not feel dramatic. There were no sudden darkness, no pain. Instead, there was a soft loosening, as though whatever had been holding me tightly to my body simply let go. My awareness separated from my physical form so gently that I didn't even notice the transition at first. One moment, I was aware of the hospital room, the machines, the beeping sounds, and the next, those details felt distant, unimportant. I realised I was no longer inside my body. I didn't see myself from above. I didn't look down in shock. The separation was internal, not visual. My awareness expanded outward, no longer anchored to a single point. What replaced the hospital room was not a place in physical sense. It was a space made of clarity. Everything felt calm, ordered, and purposeful, as though I'd stepped into a realm where nothing was accidental. I felt accompanied, though I could not see anyone in human form. There was a presence, or perhaps many presences, that felt attentive and kind. I was not being watched, I was being held, being loved. The fear I should have felt never appeared. Instead, I felt curiosity. And then, without warning, I began to be shown things. Not images projected in front of me like a screen. Not visions playing out in sequence. What I was shown felt more immersive, like stepping into experiences fully formed, then stepping out again. The first future I was shown felt really familiar. I saw myself returning to my body. I felt the heaviness of physical existence settle back all around me. I sensed the slow recovery, the frustration of weakness, the impatience I would feel at how long healing would take. I saw myself slipping back into old patterns, rushing about, worrying, placing my worth in productivity. In this future, nothing catastrophic happened. Life continued. But there was a sense of dullness. Not unhappiness exactly, just a quiet narrowing. I felt how easy it would be to forget what I was experiencing now. Then that vision faded gently, like mist lifting. And another one unfolded. In this one, I returned to life differently. I saw myself moving more slowly, choosing presence over urgency. I noticed myself listening more, truly listening to the people around me. I felt the way my relationships softened and deepened, simply because I was less distracted. In this version of my life, I still faced difficulties. There was still loss and disappointment, still moments of fear. But fear no longer governed my decisions. I saw myself choosing kindness when it was inconvenient, choosing honesty when it was uncomfortable, choosing rest when my old self would have pushed on. This future felt lighter, not because life was easier, but because I was no longer fighting it. Again, the scene dissolved. What struck me was that none of these futures were presented as destiny. There was no sense that one would happen to me. Instead, I understood something with startling clarity, that these were possibilities. There were paths, outcomes shaped by choice. Then I was shown something else, something that startled me. I was shown moments that seemed insignificant. A conversation I almost didn't have. A day I almost stayed home. A kind word I almost didn't offer. And I was shown how these moments rippled outward, touching lives I would never fully see or know. I saw how a small act of patience could alter the course of someone else's day, and how that change could move through others like a quiet chain reaction. I understood then that the future is not built only on grand decisions. It is shaped by countless small ones. This understanding did not come with pressure. No one was telling me I had to choose correctly. There was no threat of punishment or reward either, only awareness. I sensed a gentle invitation. It wasn't spoken, but deeply felt. Live consciously. Then I was shown something deeply personal. I was shown a moment far in the future, my life nearing its natural end. It wasn't frightening, and I didn't see any illness or pain. What I saw was myself reflecting. And what mattered in that reflection was not success, wealth, or recognition. What mattered were people. Moments of connection. Times I'd been fully present. Times I'd chosen love over fear. I felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash through me, knowing that a life lived with awareness, even imperfectly, was enough. Then the vision softened. The sense of being shown futures faded, replaced by a feeling of completion. I understood that I'd not been shown everything, and I didn't need to be. The purpose wasn't prediction, it was orientation. I felt the presence around me draw closer, not physically, but in focus. There was a sense of reassurance, like a hand resting gently on my awareness. I knew then that I would have to return. Not because I was being sent back, but because there was still living to be done. The return to my body was gradual. Density re-entered my awareness. Sound was so sharp and loud. I felt weight just being heavy on me. The hospital room came back into focus, along with the awareness of my body's condition. When I woke, I carried a deep sense of calm with me, even as confusion and exhaustion followed. In the weeks after, I tried to explain the experience to myself. Was it in my mind? Could it have been my imagination? But the changes it brought were undeniable. I became more deliberate, more patient, and less reactive. I stopped assuming the future was something that would simply arrive. I understood that it's something we participate in. And perhaps most comforting of all, I no longer feared the unknown in the same way. Because I'd seen that the future is not a rigid path waiting to trap us. It's a field of possibilities, shaped by love, awareness, and choice. And whatever lies beyond this life, it is not indifferent. It is attentive and kind, and it meets us where we are. Thank you for listening to this story with such openness. If you are here because you're worried about the future or carrying uncertainty about what lies ahead, I hope this experience has brought you some reassurance. At Soul Connections, you're always welcome, whether you come to listen, to reflect, or simply feel less alone. I'll continue to share stories that have been trusted to me, told carefully and respectfully. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself.